There's a whole world of different effects that you can use with your epoxy. We found these rust effect cans, and we thought this would be a great way to give an industrial or shabby chic feel to maybe a bar or tables in a restaurant. We've got two cans, a brown and an orange colour, and we're going to use them on this black undercoated board to give a weathered metal feel. We're also going to use a stencil to put a design into it as well. Once we're done with that, we're going to use Countertop epoxy to seal the whole surface, making it hygienic and durable at the same time. We're trying to give the effect of a piece of metal that's weathered naturally here, so we're going to use both sprays in combination. I'm starting with the bright orange, and I'm just blocking out a few areas. Now moving into the brown, and just filling in the gaps. I'm happy to leave a bit of the black showing through just to add a bit of interest. Once we've got all this colour on, I'm going to go back to the orange. We can just add a little bit on top of the brown sections here and at the borders, just to soften everything and make it look natural. While our spray was drying, we made a really quick and basic template of our logo, and we're going to use that to spray a subtle imprint of the design onto the surface of our board. And we actually went back in with some black over the top of the copper spray, just to give it a little bit more depth. Here we've mixed some silver powder in with epoxy, and I've left it over a heater just to get it really set. I'm now going to stipple this onto the edges of our board, anywhere where it might, if it were real metal, catch some chips and damage. So we want it set so that it doesn't run. If this were epoxy that we'd only just mixed, it would be running off. Because it's that thick, we can stipple it. Here I'm using a stick just to put some lines, like it's had some scrapes into the surface as well. Here's the board all together. Depending on the size of the surface, you might want to plan out what effects you're going to do and decide how much or how little you're going to do. Keep stepping back from the board to make sure you're not overdoing it. Once that's dry, we're going in with our Stone Coat Countertop epoxy, and this is going to seal everything off. This works exactly the same as our clear coat if we'd got a epoxy colour coat underneath this. Same techniques, so dragging it out with a notch spreader first to get an even coverage over the whole surface of the board. Dragging in both directions. Once we're happy with this, we're going to go back in and chop the surface with a brush just to remove those trowel marks, working across the whole surface with the brush. And finally I'm going in with a spritz of isopropyl alcohol to break the surface tension and get rid of any air bubbles that are remaining. This gives you a good idea of the kind of surface we've got. Once that layer's set, we're going to go in with a coat of Ultimate Top Coat. So first of all, we're just giving it a quick rub down with fine grit sandpaper. That's going to help our top coat to bond on well. When we're done with this, we're going to clean it all with isopropyl alcohol, ready for the final coat. So the Ultimate Top Coat, we're going to be using the natural variety. Now this gives a fairly matte finish rather than gloss, and I thought for my rust effect, matte would look the best. So this goes on as a really fine layer. You can see I'm rolling it on, I'm working quite quickly. A thin layer over the whole surface. And then once this is done, I'm going to go back in with a dry roller and take most of it back off. You really do want a really fine layer. Now we can leave that to set. We're all done with this one, and we've got a really cool board to put up on the wall in our office. I love the fact we've used the orange and the brown rust sprays. We could have just done a field of one or the other, but the fact that we've used both gives a much more organic and natural look to the board. We've used our silver epoxy to give a feeling of the kind of cleaner metal shining through where it's been chipped away at. And then we've put the logo on as well. I've tried not to make that too defined to make it look a bit older. There are a number of other ways you could go with this. We could have, for instance, either sprayed or epoxied on a layer of silver first and then sprayed the rust spray onto patches of that and then had that interaction in that technique. The other thing I thought about doing was having some areas of a coloured spray so that it looks like the surface has been previously painted, and where that's come away it started to rust. The ultimate top coat was really important for this. Once we'd done our clear coat, the board was very shiny. Now it looked okay, but I thought for a proper rust effect, having a matte finish would be really, really good, and it really made the colours pop as well. So we've used Countertop Epoxy and Ultimate Top Coat in combination, and we've created something really, really cool. Ultimate Top Coat will work with any of the epoxies, so it's not just about worktops. If you want to create a durable surface either in gloss or matte finish on some of your other castings and art projects, because it's rolled on so thinly, you can get a really good result as well, and you can tune your technique to bring the Ultimate Top Coat into the mix. If you've liked the video, please like and subscribe to our channels, and we'll have loads more projects and cool ideas for surfaces in the future.